Jax pushed the interrogation room door open roughly. The heavy iron door slammed against the wall with a loud bang, causing dust to shake down from the ceiling. The air inside the room was cold and dry, carrying a stale blood stench that even disinfectant couldn't fully mask. Jax strode into the room, his oppressive presence instantly filling the cramped space. He didn't go straight to Leo. Instead, like a lion patrolling its territory, he first paced in a circle around the solitary iron table, his eyes dark and sinister as he scrutinized the boy handcuffed to the chair. Val followed close behind. He closed the door gently and stood near the entrance. Even in this dim, filthy environment, he still carried an air of nobility and detachment that made it hard to look at him directly. But his gaze remained fixed on the boy with a complex intensity. Jax abruptly pulled out the iron chair opposite Leo. He sat down backward with a wide stride, his muscular arms resting casually yet aggressively across the back of the chair, looking like a wild beast ready to tear its prey apart at any moment.
All right, kid. You've got my attention. Now you have 3 seconds to tell me who sent you, and how you know that name.
Leo looked up. At close range, the boy appeared even more frail and haggard. His old hoodie was stained with dirt and dried blood, marks left from his earlier capture by BPA agents. His wrists were chafed raw by the handcuffs, but he didn't seem to feel the pain. He didn't heed Jax's threat. To be precise, his eyes didn't look at Jax at all. His gaze passed over Jax's broad shoulders, through the dust-filled air, and landed straight on Val, who stood in the shadows. How should one describe that look? Deep within his pitch-black pupils was an unfathomable lake of fate. There was no fear, no hostility, only a sorrow and aching attachment that seemed to span thousands of years. Like a traveler who had wandered the wilderness for a millennium and, at the brink of despair, finally caught sight of the distant lights of home. Finally, Leo spoke. His raspy voice held a heartbreaking, extraordinarily soft sense of longing.
You've lost weight.
Hearing those words, a vein in Jax's temple throbbed violently, and the air around him instantly dropped to the freezing point.
What did you say?
Leo continued to completely ignore Jax's murderous gaze. He simply stared with intense focus at Val in the shadows.
The air here is too murky. Your radiance is growing dim. Those wounds, do they still hurt?
Jax's eyes became extremely dangerous in an instant. It wasn't just the anger of being ignored, it was an affronted jealousy born of male instinct. This brat of unknown origin actually dared to speak to Val in such a familiar, intimate, and even compassionate tone. That was a privilege belonging only to him. Jax lunged to his feet, grabbed Leo by the collar, and hoisted him along with the chair into the air.
I'm the one asking you. Look at me! Don't look at him with those disgusting eyes, or I'll gouge your eyeballs out.
Just as Jax reached the edge of losing control, Val's cold, clear voice rang out from behind him.
Jax, let him go.
Jax whipped his head around, his face a mask of disbelief, offense, and fury.
Val? This kid is provoking me. He's hitting on you right in front of my face.
He isn't. Step back.
Though Val's voice wasn't loud, it carried an unquestionable command. Jax gnashed his teeth, but finally he released his grip in frustration. Leo fell back into the chair, still not sparing Jax a single glance, utterly indifferent to the death threat he had just faced. He only watched Val as he slowly approached, the sorrow in his eyes deepening. Val walked slowly to the iron table, looking down from above at the boy slumped in the chair.
You know me?
Leo shook his head weakly, then immediately followed it with a nod.
I don't know the you of now, but I know your soul. That light is special. It is so warm, yet so lonely.
Hearing this, a slight frown appeared on Val's exquisite face.
Who sent you? The sanctuary?
A tragic, bitter smile pulled at the boy's cracked lips.
No one sent me. I escaped. From that hellish laboratory, from the operating tables of those lunatics.
Leo shifted his handcuffed hands with difficulty, pointing to a slight bulge on his chest. There was a hideous scar there. Even through the hoodie, one could sense something pulsing underneath, emitting a faint heat.
They stuffed this into my body. They said only I could become the compass to find you. By following its guidance, I could find the lost phoenix.
Beside them, Jax let out a sharp, hostile snort.
So you're a manufactured tracking device? Now that you've found your target, what's your mission? To self-destruct?
Only then did Leo finally turn his head, looking Jax in the eye for the first time. However, there was no fear in his hollow gaze. Instead, there was a touch of infuriating pity.
No. My mission is to return what rightfully belongs to you.
Under the puzzled stares of Jax and Val, Leo reached into the inner pocket of his hoodie with trembling hands and pulled something out. It was a small object wrapped in layers of coarse black cloth. It was only the size of a palm, yet it seemed to possess a weight of 1,000 tons. When Leo placed the bundle on the iron table, the surrounding air seemed to grow thin under an invisible, heavy pressure. He spoke in a voice so soft, it was as if he were afraid of shattering something precious.
I'm here to return this.